Governor Greg Abbott and Democratic challenger Beto O'Rourke are out making their final pitches to voters about who's the best man to lead Texas. We reached out to both candidates, inviting them to do interviews with us ahead of Election Day. During his final campaign stop in Austin, O'Rourke and I sat down to talk about what it would take for him to win Texas. Dodging raindrops, Beto O'Rourke runs into East Austin's Doris Miller Auditorium, his final stop in the capital city before Election Day.
Hello.
Before joining the other Democrats on the ballot to rally voters, we sit down. We're in the home stretch. How are you feeling heading into Election Day?
I feel good. We just came in from Houston. We were at TSU and University of Houston. We're here in Austin, which will probably be the last time I get to be here. And really kind of feeling overwhelmed with gratitude for the way that we've been supported in this community. Every time we've showed up, people have turned out. I was seeing pictures from outside of University of Texas at Austin today, people in line 2 hours deep in order to cast that ballot. So, everything's on the line in this election. A woman's right to choose, a kid's right to survive the school year without being shot in their classroom, our right to come together as a people, as a state, without being defined and divided by our differences. And we want to make sure that we win. And the people in Austin are doing the work to make sure that we win. So I feel really good coming back here.
From the polls to the fundraising, this has been a tight race for you, but it cannot be lost on you the fact that a Democrat has not won a statewide election in Texas in almost 30 years. What is it going to take for a Democrat to win a seat here?
We've got to bring out the people that we haven't heard from yet, whose votes haven't been counted, whose voices haven't been heard. The very people who are the targets of voter suppression and voter intimidation. If we can bring them out, they're the majority that's out there that would never stand for a total abortion ban without exception for rape or incest, or a grid failure in the middle of the energy capital of the world, or this exodus of teacher talent that we're seeing from our schools right now. But they've been the targets of this effort to disenfranchise our fellow Texans by the millions. So our campaign is all about knocking on their doors, bringing them in, and making sure that they vote. When they vote, we win. And so far, what we're seeing as we look at turnout around the state and the people who are turning out for the first time in their lives is very encouraging.
Yeah. The message then you feel resonating with those folks?
Absolutely. And it's also helped by our current governor. I mean, after 8 years of Greg Abbott, you have some of the highest property taxes in the country, some of the highest utility bills anywhere. You have him as the major driver of inflation. Homicides up 50% after he ignored advice from law enforcement and signed permitless carry into law. We lead the nation in school shootings, gun violence, the leading cause of death for children and teenagers. None of us are okay with this, and all of us want some kind of change. And those who will be voting in this election, either they voted early or they'll vote Tuesday on Election Day, I believe they're going to be voting for change.
Now we'll have more of my interview with O'Rourke on KVUE News at 6. We reached out to Governor Greg Abbott's campaign multiple times over the last few months to request interviews. We also invited him to conduct a live town hall on KVUE to share his message with voters. He declined those offers. Last month, though, he did sit down with my colleague Jason Whiteley from our sister station WFAA in Dallas. Here's part of that interview.
You have served 2 terms in office. You've scored major conservative wins. What in the world do you want to do in a 3rd term, 4 more years in office if elected?
The most important thing is to keep Texas the #1 state for economic opportunity. We also want to keep Texas advancing educationally. Remember this important fact. When I first became governor, I was shocked to learn that other states were leading Texas as it concerned Tier 1 research universities. I promised to double that, and now Texas has more Tier 1 research universities than any other state in the United States. Same thing applies to our K-12 schools, and that is today Texas has more blue ribbon K-12 schools than any other state in the United States. So we want to continue advancing educationally, economically, but also with individual liberties to make sure that the freedoms that Texans have always enjoyed, which candidly are different than the way they are in some other states, that those freedoms are going to be protected.
Now you can find the full interview with Governor Abbott on KVUE.com. Here